In my F.L.Y and Rockburg review, I said that F.L.Y is probably the best flying coaster in the world, but it's far away from being the best coaster in the world. Today, I'm gonna explain you why. The first flying coaster was launched at the end of the 90s, and as the name says, the concept is to give a flying experience to the passengers. It was meant to deliver innovation in the industry. The distinctive feature is the transition from loading position to flying position, in which the seats basically even go up or go down from one position to the other. This great innovation came with lots of issues as well. The first one is that the transition happens in the station and it takes quite a lot of time. Therefore, the loading and dispatch of trains is pretty slow. On top of that, there are lots of components, sensors and mechanics involved. Therefore, the coaster is subject to massive downtimes and maintenance it's required. After an initial popularity, this concept has been neglected by theme park. As of today, less than 40 have been produced and currently there are only 26 operating. Probably a concept which is as popular as the Screaming Squirrel, so not really a big hit. To prove this, it's worth noticing that only 3 manufacturers jumped on the flying coaster projects. With F.L.Y prototype, vekoma tried to solve all those issues for 2 main reasons. One, the transition is out of the station, therefore the hourly capacity is much higher. Then adding 2 launches allowed them to have 4 trains in total, out of which 2 can be simultaneously on track. They made onboarding pretty simple. Forget about moving floors or complicated restrainers. You take a place on your seat and you leave the station. Then there is a lift with a pre-show, and then the transition happens, which is basically the couple of seats spinning 90 degrees and the track moving from your back up to your head. Fun fact, the prototype you see here in the video, it's actually the actual station, pre-show and transition of F.L.Y. The experience on F.L.Y, it's given by this track layout, which is pretty complex, and by the interaction with the amazing teaming of Rockburg. There are lots of near miss, and the experience is like flying around Rockburg. The coaster is really fluid, launches are not brutal. The experience is like flying like a seagull, not like a supersonic jet. I think this choice is due to the nature of the coaster itself. On a flying coaster, you cannot expose passengers to excessive acceleration or forces. Keep in mind that only the restraint is holding you on the train. It's also worth mentioning that the trains are stupidly long. In between a couple of seats and the following one, there are probably 2 meters or more. This makes the train super long and of course is not the most agile train out there. Therefore, the train looks slow, I would say much slower from an off-ride rather than when you are on the train itself. A little trick, as the train is so long and there is so much space in between seats, being on the first row or in any seat doesn't make any difference, especially because you should look down and not look in front of you. So from a view perspective point of view, doesn't make any difference, while the riding experience, given the train is so long, is completely different from first row to last row. It feels like a complete different coaster. So what is the verdict? Well, it depends in which context. If you want to judge F.L.Y amongst other flying coaster, well, it's a winner. there is no discussion around there. The flying experience is at its best. It's really smooth, and thanks to the amazing Rockburg teaming, you got lots of near miss and interaction, and you're gonna have such a panoramic view of all the land around you. Also, Rockburg makes this coaster repeatable because you wanna fly more to see even more details and top view of the land. So far, I would say it's the best flying coaster you can get. The problem is that when you judge it against all the other coasters, well, we haven't got a winner here. I think the problem is the concept itself. A flying coaster can deliver to a certain extent. Also, Phantasialand has been raising the bar with Taron, and I think enthusiasts were expecting another 4 years to build, another more than 100 million investment, so we were expecting another Taron, which is not happening here. Let's imagine Taron and F.L.Y built by Merlin or Six Flags, therefore just placed in a parking lot with no teaming. I think Taron would still be relevant and would still deliver such an intense ride, while F.L.Y probably without Rockburg would not be even worth mentioning. So to wrap it up, I think F.L.Y is the best flying coaster out there, but given it's a flying coaster, there are some limits in terms of intensity and riding experience. The piece of art is Rockburg, and thanks to this amazing teaming around the coaster, this is still worth a try and is still something to talk about. But it doesn't win against internal competition of Taron, and when you look at all the coasters around the world, well, it's not gonna show up in any top 10, top 20, or probably even top 50. Let me know what you think about F.L.Y in the comments, and if you like the video, please subscribe, and more videos are coming on Phantasialand.